the mic comes out of the headphones, and you know, I don't always want the mic on the headphones, so I take it off, and I was apparently putting it in the wrong way.
Don't you hate it when you put it in the wrong slot?
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's my comedy for tonight. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Hey, I've got a great joke, by the way.
Oh, do go on.
I got my girlfriend. What was it? Hold on.
He needs to consult the joke book. Who are we waiting for? Chris will just be a second. His Discord is taking a mo to load. Why is it the Discord always has 15 updates? Always specifically 15 updates.
I got an iPhone for my girlfriend the other day. Yeah, I thought it was a good deal.
This was a joke?
I got an iPhone for my girlfriend the other day. I thought it was a good deal.
Oh, sorry. That one shot by my head and then came back around to hit me again.
I'm sorry.
I've missed it entirely. I can't even guess it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. We'll have to work on your joke. It's obviously that kind of day. Liz gets it. I ducked when the joke came past me. I'm sorry. I had to wait till it came back around.
Oh no, I don't get it. I'm just too tired to understand.
Fine, that's fine. Anyways, nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it. Well, yes.
Okay,
all right.
Apparently, Forge does not like me. He doesn't want me to sign in.
Probably after that joke. You call that a joke?
I was having difficulty as well, but I'm in now.
It's like a pure dad joke.
I suppose it would have to be written to be a bit more obvious. For a dunce like myself, you know, I'd have to see it written to go, oh, I expected, yeah. So, you know, I'm afraid the joke was wasted on a slowpoke like me. Anyways, yeah, we're going to see if we can do today's episode in one sitting, and we've got stuff to do, so whilst we also give Chris time to get through Discord updates and Dave time to actually have Forge let him sign on, we're going to kick through the intro video and we'll be right back, so excuse us, folks.
Sorry.
Yeah, just got it. It took us, 4 minutes, 30 seconds to get there. It's going to be one of those days, I'm afraid, isn't it? Hello, folks. Welcome along to the first Star Trek Adventures of 2025. Blimey, we got there. I wasn't sure if we'd make it, but we got there. So here we go, the first one of 2025. Hi folks, I'm MJ the GM, and I will be your games master for the next couple of hours, and with me are the crew of the USS Combs. As we get back into the saddle, as it were. So, Chris is still not quite loaded into Discord yet because of Discord. So, whilst we're waiting on Mr. Powell, I will plug his channel for him. Right here, you can see on my screen at the moment, Utter Crisp Gaming channel, where he gives nostalgic and current reviews of stuff that he loves to watch. And his latest video on Yakuza 0 was a cracker. If you get the chance, do give it a watch, because it was fan-frickin-tastic. Hour and a half, one of his biggest videos, and well worth the watch. So thank you, Chris, for that gem. And as you can see, I was partly through making my way through Dishonored, so there you go. I'm sorry, that joke is being told over Discord at the same time.
Oh.
Yes, it was that kind of joke.
Cute.
That was good. I like that one. Well done, Liz.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I am literally going to sit in the corner. Yeah.
Maybe if you typed it out, then, you know,
Yeah,
that would have helped as well.
There we go. Dave is like, you didn't get my joke, but you get hers. God damn it. That's the level of humour you have to hit us with, Dave. Nothing too complicated. Speaking of complicated, it's time to do science!
Before we do anything,
Yeah.
just to let you know that I have decided to use both of my reprimands and
Yes.
be put in the brig.
So, yes, Lieutenant Tavish had some reprimands and therefore is paying off those reprimands by being in the brig. So, yes indeed, we won't be getting our chief engineer for this episode. So, if we dash to Deck 1, we will see that in charge of engineering, and I use the word loosely, in charge, are going to be Ensign Carly Kenson and Ensign Shara Jirani. So a pair of ensigns get to be co-chief engineers. No pressure, girls, but there you go.
I would like to play Carly Kenson because I just want you to keep on saying Ensign Kenson.
Yeah, I guessed as much.
Episode.
It's like I saw that coming, you know. I pretty much saw this kind of thing coming the moment you asked for her to be transferred. Wait, Matt keeps tittering every time he hears Ensign Kenson. I still can't do it now without doing it.
I can't do it without laughing as well. I don't know how I'm going to do this episode. I think it's going to be mainly on mute.
I will find a way to soldier forwards. But in the meantime, let's see. We had Flask working on AI repair droids for the ship, so basically resurrecting the dots. We also we had to put on hold training the Murgar. And oh, we get more jokes.
I mean, the Morgard trading is still happening. It's just in Klingon space now.
Yes. So we'll guess Humpty Dumpty had a great fun. See, jokes like that I get. Your joke was too nuanced and subtle, Dave. Next time, just bludgeon me over the head with a joke, just like that.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. Yeah.
Garrow can't do one because Chris left us for his acting career some time ago. So the only other there was talk of an auto resonance shifter for phasers, but now under second edition rules you can actually do that. So there's no point for that. So it seems to be it's going to be the repair droids.
We were doing the ancient power source research.
Yes, you were. The ancient power source research, and you were very, very, very close to getting there. So anybody who has any kind of Yes, that's fine. Thank you, Connie. So whilst Chris is still trying to join us, anybody Flask wants to bring in as help? Anybody who's got experience with ancient technology and power sources would be preferable. This sounds like something for the science division, personally, but you never know. The engineering division usually has things up their sleeves as well. Ah!
Who had I pulling in last time?
It was either Captain Sobek to make him feel wanted and useful, or it was somebody who actually had something.
Tavish, but
it was probably Tavish. Yes, she's currently in the clink, so
yeah, I'll just bring in the captain then.
Okay.
Hello. Can you guys hear me at all?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I had to just go ahead and Connie suggested the web version. For some reason, my Discord app, which has now it's logged in after I've gone and done it on the web, but it was just stuck on the sort of starting it was stuck on the starting thing for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, it was nervous.
I'm going to join in now on the actual
app version. Okay, that's fine.
Back in a sec.
You kind of get the impression that the app version was too nervous whilst you were watching it, so it needed you to look away for a minute.
Pretty much, yeah. No, that was fun. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Technical difficulties outside of our control. Woof. Okay, so we who shall we get? You know what, Liz? You can be Captain Sobek. We just need reason and science, I suppose, with his invention focus. So reason and science from him. Is Flask using science or engine? Doesn't matter. Reason and science works either way.
And
power systems.
Power systems, yeah.
Okay then, so it's just the number of successes we generate rather than anything like that. Hey, the captain did something! 2 successes. Alright, very, very close to the end. It's uncertain whether this is going to be what you need to complete AI repair droids, but drawing on ancient power sources for inspiration, specifically those battery systems that you've come across before used by the ancient techs, might allow you at the very least, even if this field of investigation doesn't allow you to fully create such things, it will at least allow you to create very, very high-powered and resilient battery systems for them to use. So even if nothing else. So cool. We are very, very close to the end of this particular field of investigation. That's cool. Nobody else had any other science projects they wanted to get started on? I mean, at the moment, unfortunately, the chief engineer's currently twiddling her thumbs in the brig, so
yeah, but I can't do anything at the moment. Yeah, I can't do anything at the moment.
Getting Discord working was my science project.
I'm still thinking about science projects.
Yeah.
Someone can take, but I don't know. Only a helm officer.
You are a crucial member of the crew, Ensign Bonnet. You steer the ship.
She does have artificial intelligence systems.
Yes, and that can't possibly go anywhere but up. I say that artificial intelligence makes up the majority of the programming of the main computer on Starship, so, you know, one way or the other. If there's nothing else, yes?
I know this may be a bit weird, and you can say no to this. Can Nylil and Tavish hack into Ensign Kenson's communication device
whilst in the brig?
Whilst in the
okay.
brig. Not to say anything, but just to hear about all the conversations going on and everything.
You know what? It's totally in character for Tavish to do that whilst in the clink. That she just pull open a panel and hotwire into the ship comms. You know what? I'm going to assume that succeeded because it's totally up her alley.
Fantastic. All right.
Because she's, you know, bored and wants to at least listen into the ship goss.
Yeah, that's it. She just wants to listen to ship gossip.
Alright. We're going to move over to the campaign side of things now, because the war with the Klingons is still ongoing. Now, as you can see, 20th Fleet now has an awful lot of resources to draw upon. Now, as a result of a previous point of interest not being resolved, we have lost, but the USS Stargazer, your Miranda class in the fleet, has had to be sent elsewhere for the time being in order to make up for the one mission that was not resolved. But you have, as you can see, got quite a lot of extra stuff. Plus, you have 5 progression points that you can spend on getting some added extras. Progression is almost like experience points for the fleet, and you can use 5 progression points to buy an advantage. So, unfortunately, you don't get the luxury of choosing. I roll randomly for it. So I'm assuming everybody is okay with 5 progression points going into drawing up something funky?
Yeah. What else could we spend it on?
Well, that's pretty much it, really.
Oh, then, yes.
Rather than giving you a huge table to actually look through, I rolled, and I got flexible deployments, which is this down here, which is a really good one to start with as far as your first progression points. Some progression items are use once and then discard. Good for a one-shot kind of boost of advantage. This one, however, has got saved on it, which means that you can use it at a point determined by you rather than taking effect immediately. So ordinarily, progression, things that you'd pick up, you have to use this turn. Or immediately, rather, I should say. But because this one is saved, you can use it whenever you think you want to. And flexible deployment says for an entire campaign turn, each resource may be used twice rather than once, which is ridiculously good, because that means you can put more the same thing
throw everything
to multiple points of interest. So, wow. So the points of interest we've got, quite nicely, we have managed 2 exploration missions, which gain you 3 progression points if you resolve them. So you've got 1 Science 2 exploration mission, you've got a Science 3 or a Personal 3 exploration mission, the number being how many successes you need, and the word Science or Personal or whatever attributing what kind of role we're looking for. You have also got 2 tactical situations going on. The final tactical situation is today's episode. So, looking at all the stuff you've got,
I was going to say, we could just start checking if we use each of these twice. We could just
stomp. You could, pretty much.
Which
we can. I was thinking we can use the Nova class for the first science.
The Nova class. Yeah, science 12-4. Definitely that one.
Mm-hmm. Nova class. Where did I put you?
USS Omnis.
The Omnis. Yes.
And the USS Mercy is good for science as well.
I know. We could always try to use that for the second exploration.
We can use them both twice.
Yep.
Oh.
Yes.
Or we can look at the personnel, because it's 3 science or 3 personal.
Yeah.
Right.
The captain, Captain Soren, has a social of 16.
16, yeah, put that on the second one. So what else are we putting on the science one? The Randar's Curiosity has a 12-3.
Yeah, we can put that one with the Omni.
Yep. So we've got...
And then that way we have 2 and 2 so far for the 2 explorations.
Oh, I thought we were putting the Mercia on this exploration.
Oh, we can always use it on the tactic, because of the social is good as well for the Mercia and the captain for the tactical.
Plus there are 2.
Yeah, they're both decent socials. ish.
Well, these science. So for the second one, we could use personalized set of science just because I'm looking at that science for the USS Mercia. 515. That's the highest of the ones we've attributed for science. But if we're going to do science for both of those, I don't know now. 311. Oh no, the USS Alba is a personal 315. Put that with the captain. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we'll do that on, and then we can move the Mercia up there, and then have 3 ships on that exploration.
Yeah, because that gives us the highest chance.
Okay, well,
and then we can
And we've
start
got
working
the Admiral Hardin has a social of 16.4 for the social 2, urgency 1.
along with Captain Saran and the Alba.
Yep.
I know. Well, we were. Yeah. For
You know,
now,
make your point, make your case.
Because I know we were. Yeah, because we'll probably move the ones that have decent science down to the other exploration as well.
Yeah, just fire both. And then the bottom one, because it's military 4.
Ghost.
Ghost, definitely. The retired Federation ship.
All right then. So just to make it maybe visually easier on myself, let's deal with exploration point number 1 first. What are we doing with that one? The Randars, the Omnis, and the Mercia?
Yeah, that's given us 3 good chances.
Yes, Liz?
To get...
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the others to make sure we're not missing any that could be good.
You can use them twice, so...
I think we've got the best science on that first one.
Yeah, that's the best group we have. So.
All right, going once, going twice. Everybody good with this?
I like this.
The first exploration winners having the Randars, the Omnis, and the Mercia. Okay, so which one's the primary? Probably the Mercia?
Definitely the Mercia.
Okay. Okie dokie. In that case, let's have... Go on then, Liz. If you want to be the Mercia, roll me 2 d20s, please. Oh my god, look at that. Okay, so one's a 17, which unfortunately misses the mark, but you got a 1, which is a double, so we've got 2 right off the bat, which means you've effectively done it. So anything else is extra, which we can put in campaign momentum. So let's have... Chris, if you could be the Omnis, which means you roll me 1 d20, please.
Yarp. Just a sec. D20. There we are.
So we're looking for 12 and under, and hopefully a 4 and under, which means you got 2 more. Good grief! That's 4! Connie, could we get you to be the Randar's Curiosity? And we're looking at you rolling us 1 20-sided dice, and we want 12 and under. Was almost a 2, but it is still a success, so that's 5 successes. You only needed 2. Campaign momentum goes to 3. Now, campaign momentum works pretty much the same kind of way that regular momentum does. When you are trying to do a point of interest, you can spend campaign momentum on buying more dice. That kind of thing. So, the Randars has been used once, so this exploration mission has been dealt with very, very well, so that one's popped, which means that you do get, for every exploration point of interest resolved, you get 3 progression points. So that's already 3 right there. You also get extra progression points for any unspent campaign momentum at the end of the campaign turn, so... something to keep in mind, but that was a fantastic first turn. So, number 2.
Same 3? We did quite well.
Yeah, so the same 3. Yeah, if you want to use the same 3.
Well, they've got low... They've not got very good social or military, so I'd say just use those 3 again on...
Exploration.
For science.
Yeah.
For science! Jeez, Louise. Okay, so
Mercia leading again.
the
Yep,
Mercy
yep.
leading again.
Of course, the Mercy is always going to lead for this one.
So, let's have this time Dave. Can you be the Mercia? Roll me 2 dice. 2 20-sided dice, please. We're looking for 15 and under on one or both of these dice. Preferably both. So there is
2d20.
Yes, please. Well, that's a 10 and a 5.
Ooh!
So that means this was for the Mercia, wasn't it? Good lord,
Yeah,
that was 3 successes.
So we've done it.
You've already done it. Can you say more campaign momentum? All right then.
Yes, we can.
Absolutely, we can. All right, so we've had Liz, we've had Chris, we've had Connie, we've had Dave, which means Mark, it's your turn. Are you the Omnis or the Randars?
I'll do the Omnis. They're almost the same.
Yeah,
Right.
so we're looking for 12 and 4. So there we are. 1d20 from you, please. Oh, that was a miss. But you've still succeeded. And we need one person to be the... Is it the Omnis that's left now? Or was it the Randars we just did? I lost track.
No, it's the Randar that's left.
It's the Randar that's left. So... just come back around to the top of the list then. Chris, if you could be the Randar's curiosity for me then, please. Just roll another 20-sided dice.
Cool.
We're looking for 12 and under. We got a 2!
Oh,
My god, that's 5 again! You guys are killing it. So that was a difficulty 3.
I'm really good at this game.
Now,
You say that, and then all of our rolls from here on out are going to be terrible.
well,
I gotta manifest. I did say manifest.
you got 2 over and above what was needed, but as I have mentioned before, usually in these points of interest, a random one gets selected to have an event happen to it, and in this case it was the one we've just done. An old enemy has laid a trap. If a character asset is committed here, the character must immediately make it a personal challenge, but they weren't. You attributed 3 of your ships to it, which means that that event doesn't occur. So the old enemy may have laid a trap, but laid a bad one. So, campaign momentum and loss is applied before the mission is undertaken. So, yep, you overcame that by not posting any characters to it whatsoever. So, you get additional 2 campaign momentum. This is the best turn I think you've had so far. So, that's another exploration mission also successfully in the bag, which means 3 more progression points. So, you've already earned enough for another progression spend. Right, so we have used the Randar's curiosity twice, we've used the Omnis twice, and we have used the Mercia twice. So that's all that can be used for those guys. We still have 2 tactical situations to deal with, and the first one is a social 2. So, yeah.
Because we've got everything else, which we can use twice, why don't we throw everything else at both of them?
Remember, you can use a maximum of 5 dice, so that's pretty much 1 primary and 3 secondaries, so yeah, absolutely.
So
Or we can,
So Captain Seren's going to be the primary, and it's picking 3
Hey.
more socials. We've got 1 there, 2 more socials.
we can use Commander of the Nightingale.
Commander
'Cause
Cottrell,
it has a,
he's got a
yeah,
social
has-
of 9-11. 9-1, pardon me, 9-11.
Oh,
Jesus,
well,
that was a
not
faux
that
pas.
good, yeah.
9-1.
The
or,
Ghost
um,
is good.
The
11
Ghost does
to-
have a good
That's a-
social.
yeah. Admiral Harding has a decent social.
Oh, yes, he has. Yeah, bring Admiral Harding.
Well, Harden.
Okay,
So that's 1 primary and 3 secondaries.
Let's do that.
I find it interesting that a captain has an admiral as his assistant, and there's also a Section 31 black ship in here. Probably with the Admiral on it.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, so Captain Seren is helping out on the USS Alba. So we want Captain Seren to be... Good God, yes, we want him to be the primary. So...
Yeah, Admiral Hardin has the same social, except for the
focus, yeah, one less on focus. So that's a good point. That's a good point. So, Connie, if we could get you to be Captain Seren...
Alright,
I need you to roll 2 20-sided dice for me, please. We're looking for 16 and under, which is really good. 14 and a 17. So we get 1. No, we get 1. That's cool. We've got more to go. So, Dave, could I get you to be Admiral Hardin, rolling 1 20-sided dice, please? We are looking for 16 and under still. We got a 19, okay. The misses are starting to accrue, but we only need 1 more. So, Liz, if you could be the Alba. 2, awesome. Not only is that a success, that's 2 successes. So you're at 3, so you're over and above what you needed. So now that leaves Merc.
Cool.
20-sided dice on... a 10 social, it was under that, so that's another one. That's 4 successes. You needed 2. You get 2 over and above. Good lord, you guys are... So it was a slow start. but now 20th Fleet is rolling. Which means we have got 1 more tactical situation, and this is a military 4. So this is a big one. So
definitely need the Ghost.
So definitely need the Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
Let me reorder a few things here then, just to get some stuff out of the way. The Ghost. The Ghost has a very high tactical military whatever, so definitely the Ghost.
Admiral Harding.
Yeah,
he has
a military 13-3. Very good, very good, very good.
The retired Federation ship has a 12-2 for Mill.
Yeah, and I think that's the next best we have.
Okay.
And then it's the Nightingale.
Commander Cottrell of the Nightingale on 11-2.
I can't see anything better.
Bear in mind, you can use campaign momentum. Oh, pardon me. What? Raynor?
Raynor has a 12-2.
Raynor does have a 12-2. So that's
if we
1 primary, the Ghost, and 1, 2, 3 secondary, so that's the maximum you can have.
So if we were to spend campaign momentum, can we add it to the Ghost's rolls?
Yeah, but you'd lose rolling for, say, Raynor or using the retired Federation ship.
Yeah, because a 12-2, if we lose the Raynor, Admiral Harding has a higher success chance.
So you can spend campaign momentum giving an extra dice. Yes, absolutely.
Or the
Ghost.
The Ghost.
Yeah, the Ghost. Yeah, the Ghost will definitely have a higher chance, and I'd rather have 3 on the Ghost.
Yeah, let's do 3 on the Ghost.
Alright, let me reorder the assets a little bit here, because it's getting a bit cluttered. Let's put the Alba back up here for the moment. Alright, so we got some major tactical stuff going on here. So, who wants the honor of being the Ghost?
Go on, Liz. You did really well with the first roll.
Are we buying an extra dice for the Ghost?
Oh, yes.
Right, yes. So let me take 1 campaign momentum out of that. So you are rolling 3 20-sided dice for the Ghost. And we get... Whoa, we got a 20. We got a 20, folks! And Thomas the Tank Engine!
But I got a...
I forgot about that!
Yeah, that is...
Thomas the Tank Engine with a tash. Which is not something I thought I'd say out of Star Trek. On Star Trek View. Okay, so that's a complication.
These crossovers are getting complicated.
They are getting kind of weird. That was a complication.
We can't spend campaign momentum to re-roll that?
Ooh, that is a good point.
We have momentum.
Let me check. Let me check.
I'm hovering over the roll. Again.
Please let me re-roll that. Let me see. Because you don't have determination that you can use. Doesn't say. What can you do about... See, if a number of successes scored was less than difficulty of the conflict and one or more dice rolled a natural 20. No, it's not that. If a number of successes equals or exceeds the difficulty, but one or more dice rolled a natural 20. So you could get a flawed success. So you'd still get a success, but there would be a flawed success as a result of the complication.
But we need to succeed first.
But you need to succeed first. But you have already now got 2 successes. So you're halfway there.
Oh, what dice were rolled? Because I'm seeing 2, 10, and 45.
A 13, a 12, and a 20 were rolled. So the 13 and the 12 were both under the 16.
And then it was 20.
So you've got 2 at least. And there's a 20, which will add a slight flaw to the success, but we still need to generate a success, as was rightfully noted. So next we need Admiral Hardin. So, who wants to be Admiral Hardin? Chris, you've done well so far with rolls. Roll me a 20-sided dice.
Cool.
We want 16 and under. Me to get another 20.
Oh my
That I won, I fail.
Okay. Which means it's all down to the retired Federation ship. Now you need to get a 2 and under to get this. Who's feeling lucky? You know, you've done very well. You've eliminated 3 out of 4. So having 1 not quite reach it is not a bad track record to go with. So who feels lucky? Who feels like testing their luck?
Alright. So it's 2 or less.
Yeah.
Oh,
to succeed, we need a 2 or less. Oh, that's a 7. It was still 1. So you got 3 and 2 20s. So what does that mean? If a number of successes scored was less than the difficulty and 1 or more dice rolled a natural 20, then you've suffered a serious setback. The conflict fails. One of the following happens. Ooh. You know what? I think we're going to roll to determine a loss for a ship or character asset used in this conflict. So.
Damn, we can't just choose the Federation ship, the retired Federation ship?
Well, technically the retired Federation ship is an asset that's a one and done thing, so you've used it so it goes away. So, as a result of you having used it, it is now a limited resource, a limited asset, so pop. That's already gone. So the only things left are the Ghost and Admiral Hardin. So roll to determine a loss for a ship or a character. So I'm going to roll me a flip a D2. So on a 1 it's Hardin, on a 2 it's the Ghost.
Come on, 1, come on, 1, come on. Yes, 1.
It's Hardin. Give me the black ship. So now we need to go for, it's going to be a potential character loss. So where's the table? Let's roll on that table. Nothing serious. He's available next game turn. So there we go. Luck of the roll there. So Admiral Hardin is still available to be used, as is the USS Ghost. Unfortunately, the tactical situation was unresolved, which means it goes from being an Intensity 1 problem. The enemy entrench themselves, or the situation spirals out of control. The intensity increases to 2, and then the difficulty goes up by 1. Oof! So that means it goes to Urgency 2, and the military difficulty is now 5 successes needed for that. So that enemy captain, that renowned enemy captain operating in one of your sectors, is really causing some difficulty, even with an admiral and a black ship. But That was your only failure. You have got 6 campaign momentum, which means for every point of campaign momentum unused at the end of the turn, you get an extra point of progression. So we reset the campaign momentum down to 0, but we've now got 12 progression. You could technically buy 2 more progressions. But that will probably be best to wait until next campaign turn, because you sometimes have to use these progression things immediately. So,
yeah.
There you go. So that goes. So your previous progression with being able to use everything twice, which proved really, really useful, has been used. You will get the ability to buy 2 next time, which is kind of awesome. And your ship, the USS Stargazer, returns to your list of assets, and because this is the end of a turn, you gain 2 new assets. You gain the USS Cuchulainn and the USS Sitting Bull. So let me put these up. In your list of assets, you now have quite the fleet.
And I was hoping that a ship that was named after Indian chief would have better military. Damn.
The Sitting Bull, yes, is a medical, much more of a medical thing. Actually, it's kind of a middling medical and more of a science ship. So there you go. Cheyenne class. Nice. That was quite an active, quite an action-packed campaign turn there, I have to say. Nicely done.
How many, just for next time, if we build up campaign momentum, could we have just spent it all on the Ghost to roll for that military?
Conceivably, yes.
I think that's what we'll end up doing for the next one.
For the next one,
I
just
agree.
throw a chuckload of momentum.
Like, do all the easy ones. Yeah, build up momentum on the easy ones, easier, and then
and then just have the Ghost throw 5 dice at it.
Yep.
Kind of like a tactical assassination kind of. He just rolls up on him and shoots him in the engine core. All right then, nice. Of course, we've now completed the tactical turn. It's now time to get on with today's actual episode. We are on our 20th episode, I do believe.
Woohoo!
Yes. Actually, no, 21.
Woohoo!
21 into our 21st episode on 2025. So, I am going to read you a quick mission brief after I switch the ambience. Captain's log, stardate 50121.2. The Combs has just come off yet another engagement with the Klingons, and I have to admit, they're all beginning to blur together. As a result, even a crew as talented as that of the Combs, myself included, have started to become complacent, and we have paid for it. Our last mission defending an aid convoy in the Malona sector was a victory, as always. But the Klingons employed a different tactic, which focused on targeting specific sections of our ship. The convoy has since moved on, and sensors detect no further Klingon presence. As such, we're taking stock of the damage done. So, we move to main engineering, where I will give us some engineering ambience. So, yes, don't move everybody. Since you are playing Ensign Kenson, Dave.
Yes.
The Ensign herself comes down the ladder from inspecting some of the ship's systems. since the engineering section took quite the pummeling during this latest mission against the Klingons, and the ship has been suffering from some strange power fluctuations ever since. And so the Ensign has been crawling about the Jeffries tubes and the maintenance ducts, trying to get a handle on what's going on. And so we start things off with the Ensign coming down the ladder, and as per usual, Ensign Kenson, damn you, Dave, is doing what she usually does, which is a bit non-standard. But the Ensign, when she goes crawling around the ductwork, because she's a bit of a grease monkey, she tends to undo her uniform and kind of tie it off around her waist, so that she operates mostly in her undershirt, because apparently the girl gets rather hot and sweaty crawling about the ductwork, and so likes to at least not put sweat stains on her uniform, and so comes out of the tube with her uniform still at half-mast. And this is where the Ensign gives Captain Sobek and Second Officer Commander Flesk her appraisal of what's going on. So, the Klingons were mostly targeting the engineering section, in specific sections at that. And so, the Klingons have managed to damage quite a few of the ship's induction coils, specifically those that are coming off of the secondary reactors. This means that the current coming out of the secondary reactors has started to become unstable, which in turn affects every system it is attached to.
This is a bad time to put damage.
Yep.
Oh god, I'm loving this.
Oh dear.
Wow, I never thought somebody would enjoy being in the brig, except for, of course, for Beckett Mariner from Lower Decks, but... You know.
Oh, this is hilarious. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Okay, so...
I'm sorry, guys.
So, essentially, yes, Ensign Kenson comes down to appraise the captain and Lieutenant Commander Flesk of the situation. So, essentially, what the induction coils do is you have raw plasma, energized plasma going through the conduits, which, of course, you want the... You essentially want the voltage to remain fairly stable, and the induction coils are like electromagnetic coils that I'm not sure if they're electromagnetic. The space magic science eludes me a little bit in this regard, but it at least keeps the current stable. If the induction coils don't work, then the voltage can start to randomize a little bit, and the current becomes... It can go up and down, and therefore become less stable for the systems that rely on current coming through. So, as a result, a number of your induction coils have been damaged, it seems, which is a bit unfortunate. This will more than likely result in unstable current moving through to some of our systems, which, well, means that we will more than likely have to put in for maintenance and repairs once we get back to Starbase 234.
Yes, Captain. I've tried to do everything I possibly could, but we're doing the best we can, sir. With the situation going on.
I do not doubt it, Ensign. This is a setback, but nothing that cannot be overcome. What is the estimated time that you reckon on repairs and refitting being needed? So, in order to answer Captain Sobek's question, and because we have an empty momentum pool just to get us started, it'll be cool for you to give me a reason and engineering check for Ensign Kenson, with your focus of maintenance. Neato, 1 success, that was all that's needed, so 1 momentum point goes into the pool. As I said, the induction coils are used for keeping the current going through the EPS conduit stable. So in order to replace the faulty ones, you're more than likely looking at pulling into a starbase or a space dock, ripping out the faulty ones, putting new ones in, and then you have to test the new ones to make sure that they're up to speed and can regulate the current going through them. So you're looking at probably about a week's worth of maintenance and repair.
Captain, we're looking probably at a week, having to take out the faulty the faulty
Oils.
coils and putting in brand new ones in a dock. Yeah, you're looking at a week, Captain.
I see. Well then, I guess that means that everybody but engineering is getting shore leave when we reach the nearest station. It is at this point. Go on, sorry.
No grapple.
Unfortunately, it looks like engineering will be putting in overtime. It is then that one of the consoles nearby gives an alert, and a message comes through. Ensign Ravelon to the captain. Go ahead, Ensign Ravelon. We are getting a priority comm signal from Admiral Hebert, sir. Captain Sobek raises a Vulcan eyebrow. Put her through down here, Ensign. Captain Sobek moves over to use one of the consoles. Commander Flesk and everybody else is also able to look over the captain's shoulder if they want to eavesdrop. But nevertheless, Captain Sobek alters the display to show the incoming communication from the Admiral. Captain, all go well with the convoy mission? Not exactly, Admiral. We have suffered some damage to our induction coils, but it's nothing that a week in dry dock could not alleviate. Ah, well, that's where I have some unfortunate news for you, Captain. We have a new mission for the Combs, and it is an urgent one. We're diverting the Combs to the system Quaski in the Shackleton Expanse. The Klingons have apparently remembered that we keep a few sensor and comm relay stations active in and around the area, and in the Quaski system we have left one of our sensor arrays that monitors starship traffic. The array is close enough to the border with the Klingon Empire that it can be used to clock Klingon traffic that goes through that near area of the Empire. Starfleet Intelligence has intercepted a coded transmission, and apparently the Klingons are sending someone to destroy the array in the Quaski system. The Combs is, unfortunately for you, the closest and fastest ship we have, so we are redirecting you to the Quaski system in order to stop the Klingons from destroying the sensor array in that area. Captain Sobek stays quiet for a moment, contemplative. If we are the closest and most available ship, then it falls to us to make the best of our situation. We will do our best, Admiral. I'm sure you will, Captain. All the best. Keep it out. Now, the ensigns who are currently in co-charge of engineering probably don't know Captain Sobek as well as somebody like Commander Flesk, who has started to get used to Captain Sobek's mannerisms, and as such, if a Vulcan was able to grimace and suck the air in over his teeth dramatically, you're getting the impression that that's what Sobek would be doing right about now. Instead, he turns to both Flesk and Ensign Kenson. Damn you, Dave. And says, "It appears we have a change of plan. We are going to need to orientate our power grid in order to achieve speed. In your estimation, Ensign, what is the highest, safest level of warp that we can go to with a compromised induction coils?"
Let me do some calculations, sir.
Indeed. Once again, reason and engineering can come into this. Also, Flesk can probably help out with this because he's in charge of regulating the power through the ship. So,
Yep.
by all means, also give me reason and engineering.
No,
Focus
is
in
this
power systems.
Yes. Sorry, Dave. What was that?
focus in warp field dynamics?
Maintenance.
Maintenance, okay.
2 successes from Flesk. So yeah, that makes sense. Let's see what Kenson gets. Oh, cheese. Alright, see, now you have a full momentum pool. Criminy. So between the two of them...
Apparently Ensign Kenson's better than Tavish at the moment.
She is switched on. Well, it makes sense. This is the primary problem she's dealing with right now. Right. So we're talking about... a number of the induction coils are on the fritz, which means that power coming off of the secondary reactors that you installed is now potentially unreliable. So, a safe warp, you reckon, to go in to maintain speed but not be too much of a strain on the power systems would probably be around 8 at most. Yeah, an Intrepid class does have the capability of sustained high warp, but 8 is probably the toppest you're looking at not to put too much of a strain on the power systems.
Captain, we're looking at probably the highest warp being about 8, without putting a massive strain on the power systems. I would go with caution and not go anything above that.
Very well.
Ask Ensign if there's something we can fix when we're travelling. So whilst we maintain a safe warp, looking at a fix before we get back to a station.
Interesting, yes.
I can have a word with the engineering crew. We are not the lieutenant, but we will have we'll put our heads together to see if we can do it in a safe manner.
I expect it to be safe if the lieutenant's in the brig.
Good point.
Yeah, is that something we can look to fix, or at least increase to warp 9, for example, if we can do some repairs. If not, fix it fully. To look into.
Yeah, hopefully we can. I know you have some knowledge in engineering, so if you could give us, if you can think of any ideas, we would be grateful for your input, Commander.
Which brings me nicely, actually, if we redirect now to Deck 1, where we've got all our characters available to us, and we will put some bridge hum on instead. This is now going to be something that could be worth getting other folks' input on, because, you've now essentially got things that regulate the flow of power going through your ship, having developed a bit of a fault. So, doing repairs whilst in motion, that's going to be tricky, because that would suggest taking some induction coils offline, which means shutting down power to the EPS that runs through it, in order to try and do a fix.
It's basically what you're saying is basically if we are going to do repairs, we're taking away power from either other systems or the speed we're going at. Isn't it?
That does appear to be the pickle, yes. I
think Ensign Kenson and Ensign Shah, is it?
Sharani.
Shara
Sharani, yep.
We'll probably come up with I feel like having a meeting with the heads of all departments about this would probably be a good idea.
Okay.
To see if it would be a good idea to try and repair the combs while we're moving.
Well, what do other people think? Is it something that you think is viable, or something that might be a bit too dangerous?
What's the sort of risks?
Well, if you want to repair an induction coil, like I said, you have to take it offline, and that means pulling power. Any power that goes through that coil has to be shut off. So you're looking at, like Dave said, losing power from somewhere, or was it Mark? Or both that said losing power from somewhere.
Yeah, so you could be losing power from, the shields, you could be losing warp power, you could be losing, it depends on what systems are going to be affected, and if, we don't know if it's going to be a random power system, so, life support may get affected. The risks are, can we divert the power, can we make sure that the power, if we are going to repair it, which power systems are going to go offline while we're repairing it? It's instead of a random one, because if we lose power from life support, that is
big deal. Yes,
that's a massive deal. So it's whether we can choose the power systems which go offline.
Well, that's probably what operations is all about as well. So, go on, Mark.
Or if we talk to Sobek about the urgency of travel, if we just reduce the speed. So instead of going at warp 8 we were traveling at?
Yep.
Going slightly slower than that, in order to facilitate some repair. So all other systems remain online, we're just travelling slower.
I mean, warp 8 is still pretty, pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Still going like warp 7 or warp 6. If we can still maintain that.
Well, I can. If you're taking off a power coil, if part of the power is coming off, I don't think it's just going to be like a 2 points of warp going down. I think it's going to be you're going to be going down to like what probably 4 warp. Warp 4. I mean,
maybe.
Which is it depends on
what you have to pull. Yes.
Exactly what we've got to pull.
And how long is it going to take to get to our destination at these various speeds?
Hours or weeks.
Yes, well, let me give you a good old clue, because if you'll notice, I gave you a map to look at, or at least a link to look at. So, this is a map that somebody has very nicely made up of the maps of the galaxy so far known, as seen from the Star Trek Adventures rulebooks. So, if you, I can't exactly give you specific coordinates, but if you if you have a look at the southern blob part of the Romulan Star Empire that juts up against that kind of horseshoe curve spur that's of red that's made up of the Klingon Empire. If you look in between them, there should be a spot that says Starbase 234.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you guys are going to be starting from. And to get to the Shackleton Expanse, which is on the far right, you need to actually pass between... There's this narrow corridor that is part...
That's the neutral zone, isn't it?
It's as much the neutral zone as you're going to get, yes. So you're close up against the Romulan neutral zone, but you're also close up against the Klingon Empire. So you're going to be travelling down this rather narrow corridor, and a drift too far to the left or right will see you in somebody else's territory. So, what was that, sorry, Chris?
So we just don't want the dawdle around there.
Right, so that's another consideration for how fast you want to go.
Where are we going? Which
Right.
We're going to Starbase.
You're going inside of the Shackleton Expanse to find a planet, the Quaski, in the Quaski star system, in order to protect a sensor array there.
Okey-dokey.
So the Shackleton Expanse is all the way over on the right. It's that big orange cloud.
Yeah, I can see it. I know. I was just looking at like Starbase 123 and the Starbase 173. Sorry.
No, that's this one.
Oh look, there's the Neandra station.
Yep. Good old Narendra station. Way over there.
So yeah. So it's either. I mean, that's the dilemma now, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that if we want to try and repair,
you're going to be slower.
We're going to be slower, or we're going to have one, maybe two systems go down.
This appears to be your pickle, yes.
And if we have no idea if we're going to get attacked on the way. But if we don't repair it, and we do get attacked on the way, we're not at full strength.
That does appear to be the situation.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I know I'm speaking it all out loud.
No, it's good to make sure it's all clear.
I mean, in that case, I'm just happy to repair as we go. Better to at least try than just be completely blown out the water.
Yeah, it's just about it's about which powers, what we do, whether we take it from warp, whether we take it from our warp power, or whether we take it from, say, I don't know, shield, or we take it from
there's communications, there's tactical stations, there's I hesitate to say, but there's also the science nerds might
yeah, it's what
are you willing to sacrifice? Yeah.
What are we willing to sacrifice to get these repairs done?
What do we think then, gang?
I'm thinking none of the systems are worth sacrificing other than speed. Because if there's a chance we're going to get attacked anyway,
I mean, I'd
rather have shields and everything fully available.
Bonnie?
Can we also do like a combination if we evacuate some decks and just remove life support for those?
Okay.
Can we not take life support from the brig deck, please?
Let's see. What decks have we got on an Intrepid class? You've got 15 decks. Deck 1 is the bridge. Deck 2 is the officers' mess and senior quarters, VIP quarters, the labs and storage, upper sensor platform, and escape pod access. Deck 3 is the captain's quarters, the officer's quarters, the VIP quarters, equipment storage, the torpedo loading maintenance, testing isolation chamber and turbolift maintenance. Deck 4, crew quarters, transporter rooms, aft photon torpedo launchers, phaser maintenance, forward sensor pallet subsystems, and escape pod access. Deck 5 is sick bay, so, well, that's up to you. There's a lot going on Deck 5. Chief Medical Officer's office, Counselor's office, the library, the pattern buffers, the holodecks. Deck 6.
Take the holodecks down.
Take the holodecks down.
Yeah.
Now, there's an interesting. As soon as Dr. Sott goes, yeah, take the holodecks offline. That's when the emergency medical drone goes. Excuse me. I'm a valuable member of this crew. Thank you very much.
We said the holodecks. We didn't say.
He can just hang out in sickbay.
He can just hang out in sickbay.
Yeah, but you know, the emergency medical drone does take a good bit of power.
Yeah, let's turn off the annoying drone.
A valuable member of this crew, I'll have you know very much, thank you.
You're a pain in the butt.
Look,
There's a reason why I don't go to you anymore when I get hurt.
Well, that just sounds grossly unprofessional. I get the impression Dr. Sott's finger is hovering near the off switch at this point. What say you? Going to turn him off or keep him on?
Well, for the time being, I think the holodecks can certainly go. And like you mentioned, the library, like
Yeah.
probably don't need that at the moment.
I feel like it's got to be non-essential systems have to go down.
So the medical hologram.
No. I
We got a
would love.
doctor and a nurse.
No,
In the event things go south.
Yes, I was like,
Medical thing.
I was just about to say, I would love to say he is non-essential, but he is absolutely essential, because if there is multiple injuries where we need multiple doctors,
Okay, good point.
I believe in. I
believe in the DMD.
I believe in our doctor, but you know I don't want him to be overworked.
Thanks, man.
It's all right.
An overworked doctor is a cranky doctor.
I'd rather have a cranky Dr. Sott than a normally cranky EMH.
Yeah, but
Good point.
but if he gets really cranky, he may decide to shave off his beard, and we don't want.
Wow, no, that would be a mistake. That would be just no.
If he gets too stressed out, his beard will just start coming out, and I do not want that.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's fine. It's not like he has much hair to lose.
Wow. To be fair, neither does the EMD, but there we are.
Okay, so what's on deck 6? So take the library offline. That sounds fair enough. And the holodecks. What's on deck 6? Crew quarters, non-specific science laboratories. The lab where they do non-specific science. I like it.
I was gonna say, I feel like if it's
auxiliary deflector control.
Would our chief science officer be willing to move any active science experiments from the non-specific science section to the main science section if they are
Okay, move some stuff out of there. So you don't need the non-specific science labs to be operational. Okay.
Yeah, but that's if the our chief science officer is happy to do that. I feel like Ensign Kenton's taking control here. She's the next chief.
Yes, indeed. Well, that's a good question. Does Lieutenant Gurkow think that sounds like an actionable plan?
Yeah, I mean, we'll turn it back on afterwards. What's important is the mission. So, and we do need to get going, and we want to make sure we have shields if needed.
There's also auxiliary deflector control, which you probably don't want to lose. There's auxiliary computer core, the escape pods, the deuterium processing. You don't want to take that offline. Consumables resupply connectors. The food tubes. What's on deck 7? The auxiliary computer core. So the auxiliary computer core actually takes up 6 and 7. The upper cargo bays, labs, and escape pods. Thruster access, deuterium tankage, you don't want to take that offline. The warp core injector access. I don't think that's something you want to take offline either.
I was just about to say, that sounds like we don't need that.
Who needs a functioning warp core? Nah, lose it. Right, deck 8, astrometrics. You probably need to be able to see where you're going. Deuterium processing, you really need that. Docking ports, well, that's just part of the ship. The ODN EPS main trunks, you definitely need those, and these are the guys that are suffering the most from the power getting wonky. There's cargo bays, more deuterium tankage, the upper premix chamber, and the aft work pod storage. So, at the very least, Deck 8 sounds like the place that you can send the stuff that you don't need at the moment. Aero-wing shuttle dock on Deck 9, more labs on Deck 9. In fact, there's not much on Deck 9 either. Cargo loading doors, aero-wing shuttle dock, and labs. So yeah, there's not much on Deck 9. Deck 10 is your main shuttle bay. Also the flight control section, pardon me.
I was going to say, we never know when we'll need the shuttle, so...
Main computer core is on Deck 10, and the forward photon torpedo launchers. The reserve warp engine core is on Deck 10, and the main navigational deflector. Main engineering is Deck 11... along with the aft lounge, the warp core, the auxiliary warp engines, the main computer core, the main navigational deflector, environmental controls on Deck 12, as well as the antimatter tankage. You don't want those off. Main deflector control systems are on Deck 12. Deck 13, the main engine core, more labs. They love them, some labs on the Intrepid class. Secondary EPS ODN trunks. Deck 14, antimatter processing, the tractor beam emitter, escape pod access, the ground hover footpad systems. Oh, the landing gear.
Do we need the landing gear?
Probably not. Fine. You could take the landing gear offline.
Okay. So, 8 and 9, I was going to say, 8 and 9, did you say 8 and 9 don't seem to have...
much going on, yeah. I mean, so astrometrics. Astrometrics is on Deck 8. You probably need that still up.
Yeah, so keeping astrometrics up.
Actually, Deck 8 has got a lot going for it, and you shouldn't take out Deck 8 at all. Deck 9, however, yeah.
So Deck 9. I'm going to say this. And this is only to... How many people have we got in the brig?
At the moment, 1.
Okay. Can we put them...
Acceptable loss.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Just vent the entire brig.
There's no one important in there.
This is actually a conversation which is happening. Tavish has just heard that.
I hate you all. I'm going to kill you all in your sleep.
The birth of a villain.
This is where Tavish becomes the season's villain.
I don't know. I beg to differ. I think one of our characters is. Granted, he made a choice of family over crew.
I like to point out, Khan hasn't got anything on Tavish.
Oh dear.
I might dispute that a little bit, but anyway. Okay, so at the very least, it seems that you can probably safely cut power to most of Deck 9 and conserve power that way. There's minor stuff here and there, like you said, the holodecks, the libraries that you can cut out.
I was going to say, can we put Tavish in her quarters on...
Deck, that'll be Deck 3 or 4? 3, probably?
Yeah, and, complete access off.
Yeah.
Yes, she's in her quarters, but that means we can take power from the brig as well.
Which means you don't need to keep the emergency force, the confining force fields active. Yep, that sounds like a good idea. Okay.
Yep. Just put her under house arrest.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. That sounds good to me.
Have one security officer outside her door.
She keeps getting him to bring her coffee, even though she's got a functioning replicator in her room.
Oi, what? Bring me coffee now. Got replicator, Lieutenant. Bring me a coffee. Milk, 2 sugars, please. Nescafe. Sorry.
They still have brand names in the future, even though they don't need it.
Other coffee brands are available.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nah, Tavish likes the filth. It's
Oh, don't worry. In one of my games, I made the joke of because my character plays the captain in other games, like Earl Grey hot, please.
Nice.
Other teas are available.
Okay.
So yeah, is there anything else on the ship, Matt, which
we can divert power from?
Yeah.
The problem with that is that... sorry to cut you off there.
It's alright.
As has been pointed out before, an Intrepid class is a nicely compact ship. So they've streamlined the design of a ship in order to make everything packed into a reasonably small frame, even though it's not the smallest ship. Oberths are much smaller than an Intrepid, but we don't talk about the Starfleet battle canoes. So there's a surprising amount of needed stuff on varied things. I mean, you definitely do not want to mess with the deuterium and the antimatter tankage, because that's necessary for the core to run. And so the only stuff that I can see, I mean, then it comes down to science division whether or not they want to shut down their labs for a bit whilst the mission is ongoing. Do you want to deny Gurkow and her people their labs?
I don't want to deny every single lab, because then we're taking something away from the ship, massively away from the ship, and we are, if anything, we are. I know we're an exploration vessel, but we are essentially a science vessel. So,
Okay.
I don't.
Do the science teams mind sharing the same lab for a while?
Yeah.
Everyone will be getting in each other's way, but
It's fine. It's fine for security reasons. It's fine.
You'll just have to put your boy Eversion on trying to manage everybody in a very small space.
Exactly. Avert the aversion. Boom.
So if we're taking all this power, instead of going down to say warp 4 or 5, if we take a little bit of speed off as well, so instead of going at warp 8, maybe going at 6.5 or 7 or 6.5 or 7, will that get us a bit more? Would that help with mitigating?
Well, could do. What do other people think? Do you think reducing speed is a good option in order to get some lead time on repairs? Or is that sacrificing too much time? Speed.
It's the simplest, but I don't know if it's too much time.
In a little while. What's the sort of like? How urgent is it that we get there, like ASAP?
Well, yes. Basically, you got to beat the Klingons to the system, and you don't.
So okay.
So it's essentially a race, yes.
Yeah. So it is critical not to lose time. So yeah.
Liz, what was it that you said?
If we need to do something, let's see. What can I do as the Helms officer?
Yeah, as Helms officer, what you might do maybe is... let me think. You could potentially have a look at the course setting and see if there's a way of shaving off some time by plotting an alternate course, because you are going to be, if we look at that map again, it kind of... It's not exactly a straight line, it's more about going around a curve. I mean, if you did some really good navigating, you could maybe get away with skirting the edge of one of the two neutral zones to see if you could keep as straight a line as possible to get to your destination.
We need like one long Tokyo drift through the two...
Yes, essentially, yes.
Two territories.
I mean, I was thinking, I
mean, the best one to give you any help there would be Lieutenant Dufresne from Astrometrics. But navigation, it's actually something that your Chief Helm Officer doesn't have. But what about your First Officer, Lian Zhang? She's got navigation. But of course, this all comes down to another consideration, which is, excuse me, how many of your supporting characters you want to activate. Because you have... Doesn't Sobek have something that he can do? No, that's Veteran. Veteran doesn't count towards that. Supervisor... Yeah, so... Because Sobek has got Supervisor, your crew support number increases by 1. So you've got a total of 6 supporting characters that you can activate in some fashion during the course of this episode.
I mean, the only thing I could think of is to make it harder for us if we wanted to go slow, is because she does have Fast and Furious. She would want to go fast.
I think it's been kind of agreed that because this is a race, that going slow is no longer an option.
With the system,
I still think that's going to be a problem, because she would want to push the limits.
With is taking off. Alright, so I've got an idea. So with us taking off the systems we are taking off, yeah, how long are the repairs going to be?
Well, if it'll take you a week in a starbase, when you're docked at a starbase, when you can safely take the power off, it's going to take longer than that. It comes down to doing the best with what you've got, trying to isolate the problem conduits, essentially, the problem induction coils.
I really shouldn't have. I really need to have it at the moment. I know for a fact that she's got some talents which could help here.
Isn't that a shame? It's almost like I did this on purpose. In any case, I mean, Liz, if you want to try something with Bonnet's Fast and Furious potentially making things a little more difficult for folks and yourself.
I forget what I could do with a milestone when it came to my character.
Milestones.
I haven't really done anything lately. Oh, no, I only have adjustments. Damn. Adjustments
are essentially moving a point from one attribute and increasing another. The same with the department. Taking a number from one department and putting it in another. But you can't raise an attribute over 11. You can't raise a department higher than 4. You can replace one focus with another if you use an adjustment. You can replace a talent with another. Or you can do the same to a supporting character. So if you wanted to use one of your adjustments to swap out one of your focuses and put in navigation instead to try and see if you could plot a course, that's perfectly within your ability to do so with an adjustment.
You said I could, with the adjustment, I can swap out a talent, right?
Yeah, you could swap out a talent as well if you wanted to, yes.
Yeah, because I gotta get rid of Jury Rig, because I no longer have Engineering 4.
Okay. So what would you replace it with?
That's what I'm looking for. Would heading to the Shackleton Expanse count as unknown territory?
The Shackleton Expanse isn't exactly unknown territory, but it would be kind of for Bonnet at this point. So what were you looking at?
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder. Whenever you attempt to plot course through unknown territory. You know what? Considering what you're trying to do, the way that talent reads, I would allow you to use it. So if you want to swap out Jury Rig for Pathfinder, that's fine with me. As long as you make note that you've used one of your adjustments.
Back to you. It's all under Raza right now.
Yes, afraid so. It's your main store, but for the most part, yes. Alright. So that means that, Madeleine has been retraining herself in different areas. So, yeah, what you can essentially do then with Pathfinder is when you use, let's say, Reason and Con to plot a course, you can lower the difficulty but increase the complication range. So if I'm getting you to, if you want to try and plot a course that'll shave off some time, I'll make that a difficulty 2. So if you wanted to make it difficulty 1, you could increase the complication range to 2. Then go for it.
Okay, so it's Control and Con, right?
I'm going to make it Reason and Con because you're trying to use your knowledge of.
Alright, and then...
This does come under Helm Operations, so... So this is us trying to mitigate the loss of speed by choosing a faster, more direct route.
Oh dear.
Well, there goes Thomas the Tank Engine again.
Legion of Honor?
Does Bonnet have a Legion of Honor to spend? No.
No, that's all on Traza.
Alright then. Okay. What I will say is this. Bonnet, in her eagerness to go faster, when she hears about that speed is going to be scaled back, is, well, this can't be right, we're going to lose the race. And so plots in a course to make as a direct route as possible in order to try and save some time. To say that it doesn't go quite how she planned, I mean, she plots a course to the best of her knowledge and ability, but it's kind of a hastily done thing.
I just might go through Klingon space, no big deal.
Yeah, so for that, I am actually going to give you a point of determination because your Fast and Furious value has meant that you've done this as a sloppy job in haste to not lose a race. So this was born out of the night. Well, exactly. Klingon ships can't beat us if we crash into them first. So Bonnet tries to create a new route. It may or may not bring you closer to the Klingon Empire than you may have at first liked, but we'll see what happens. But you are now making life a little more interesting for everybody else, not just yourself. So as a result, I've given you a determination for your value making problems. So there you go.
Mean, it could also have gone under if it ain't broke, approve it anyways. I could have easily done that one.
So that too, yes. So either of them work as a means of, which is a good point to point out that this is probably where you should note in your personal log that happened. That your value affected your behavior. So, speed is going to be knocked down to about, 6.57? This means that... Go on.
Yes.
So
6.57.
6.57. Okay, so that means that with some power not going into the warp core as much as it should, you can start having engineering teams start turning off power in certain areas to try and see if they can do some in-flight repairs to the induction coils. This does mean that Lieutenant Commander Flesk on operations is going to have to start managing balancing power in the ship with a bit more scrutiny, because engineering and ops are now going to have to work closely together so that engineering tell Flesk when they're going to be turning off power, which means he then has to rebalance it elsewhere. And of course, with not so much power going into the warp engines, means you're not going quite as fast, but so it's a bit of a juggling act. So, let me think. It's some hours into your journey, so I would say you're about halfway through that narrow corridor when the sensors... Oops, daisy. The sensor systems on Lieutenant Gurkow's station do give an alert, as long-range sensors are now detecting a pair of warp energy signatures, and they appear to be on the Klingons' side of the border. If you want to give me a control and science check, please. And I'm going to allow the extravehicular activity focus to be used here. Mark.
I was just going to say, we have full momentum pool if you want to steal a point.
Yeah.
I think it should be okay. Oh, you know what? We're at a slight disadvantage, so I'll take that.
Okay.
Point of momentum to roll 3. Nice. So I'm gonna turn that down and...
Okay, thank you. 5, 7, and 16. Nice, 3 successes. Whopping, so you do get that momentum point back.
Ooh.
So, a pair of warp signatures. Definitely it seems to indicate a pair of ships. The size of those warp signatures would suggest cruisers, heavy cruisers. One of the warp engine power outputs is... What is the star date again? Good question. 50121.2. So you're looking at battle cruisers more than likely. Like I said, the power bloom behind one warp field is greater than the other. which either suggests a bigger ship or a ship putting in more power than the other to its core for reasons. Their speed is matching yours, if not slightly faster. Possibly around warp 8, you think? And they are going on a course parallel to your own. Now, with 3 successes, you got a good deal of... I'll type it, Liz. Don't worry.
Yeah, I hate when I am slow when it comes to type people speaking
That's fine.
words.
It's fine. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so blah, 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 blah. If you wanted to, you could spend a point of momentum to obtain more information.
Oh yeah.
And ask direct, and basically ask direct question of me. Unless you've got an ability to ask more than one question of me. In fact, what do you have? Intense, incisive scrutiny is something. I don't think it's... No, it's control or personal effects, sensory replacement.
I do have technical expertise, so if we ever have to do if I ever have a task that is assisted by the computer or sensors of the ship, I can reroll a d20.
Okay.
In my pool or the ship's.
Cool.
So
Worth bearing in mind.
we can only ask one question.
Yes, so what
I'm
kind of
asking
question?
a question now to the group, if they want to ask this question. The assumption is that if they were going to attack us, they'd be under cloak. Do we know if it is actually like a Klingon cruiser that would engage in battle? Or is it they're just monitoring us? Because it's Klingons, that if they thought they could win, they wouldn't hesitate, would they? We're at war. So it's trying to work out why they're just monitoring us. I'm thinking they may be tailing us into an ambush. It's my thought.
What does everybody else
The
think?
question is, yeah, do we want to scan further ahead? Like, I don't know how to ask that question.
Anybody else have any ideas, or does anybody else have a way of clarifying Mark's point into a question?
At that point, is it? It's most simple. Is it an ambush, or is there?
Yeah, why are they not cloaked?
That's a
Why
more
would
direct
Klingon-
question. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Why are the Klingon ships not cloaked?
Speed?
Is that
Speed? We need to go faster?
potentially? Is that the question you want to ask? Why are they not cloaked?
Hmm.
What does everybody else think? Everyone else think that's a valid question to spend a momentum on?
Works for me.
Going once. Going twice. Sold. Put it. Why are they not cloaked? With that many successes, Gurkha's best guess in that regard then would be if you're just picking up these warp signatures now, then it's entirely possible that they have just launched. So you have passed probably the shipyard that these Klingon ships have just been launched from, which would place them in the Balduk system, which last you remember being told actually did have a Klingon shipyard in it. And it would make a degree of sense to launch from the Balduk system because they are, if you look at the map again, the Balduk system is at the very, very tippy point of that northern spur of the Empire. So as you guys have come out of that tunnel, that corridor, the Klingons have now launched their own ships. Either as a result of detecting you guys, or only having just gotten their own marching orders as a result is difficult to tell. But either way,
they aren't necessarily aware of our presence yet.
Maybe.
I probably would have asked what warp they would have been going at.
Well, as part of the 3 successes that Connie earned, I said that they were a speed of about warp 8.
So we're definitely lagging behind them.
Yeah. So they will start to pull ahead.
I mean, at some point they're going to intercept us, right? So should we just hail them, or?
Alright, well...
So you want to hail ships that you are in direct contest with?
I mean, is Starbase 123 still populated with Starfleet? Or is it like they've been vacated as well?
They have been vacated. Starbase 173 hasn't been because it's close to the Romulan Star Empire, so they want someone to keep an eye on the Romulans. But 123 is, yeah. It's too dangerous to leave folks there, so... Sorry. In any case, does this mean you guys want to put your foot to the floor a little bit more?
I think we're going to have to, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, better.
Yeah.
All right,
the race
then.
is on.
The race is indeed on.
If they're going at warp 8, we're going to have to go faster, and that means...
Need for speed. No.
Well, it was the starting thing of what Matt said is that, you know, we can travel safely at warp 8. They are going at warp 8. We are behind them. We need to go faster than that. So that means pushing the systems, which may even cause even more damage.
Yeah, if we damage it and then can't travel,
yep,
then it defeats the point.
Yeah.
But we need to get there faster. So,
but if we can match their speed so they don't get ahead of us, and we're repairing it, and then we go faster once we repaired it.
Are we behind them, Matt?
At the moment you're parallel, but because you are not going warp 8 as well, you are starting to lose ground, yes.
Yeah, can we match their speed and perform repairs, is a question. Because if we can do that...
Now, the interesting thing with that regard would be that you'd essentially be taking some induction coils offline, which means the other existing induction coils would be picking up the slack. So technically, yes, you could, but it means that you'd be putting more strain on your existing induction coils.
I think, give me 2 seconds.
Mississippi.
Ensign Kenson has more power. Engineering +3. Whenever you use the reroute power major action, you may spend 2 momentum to give reserve power to 2 systems rather than 1.
So if needed, if I'm redirecting power, you assist. We can then keep things going if things go a bit tits up.
It's about keeping. So if we're going at warp 8, yeah. It means taking Ensign Kenson off of repairing whatever she's repairing, and getting Ensign
Shirani.
Ensign Shirani to do the repairs. We've got to keep those coils, because we're putting more pressure on those coils. We've got to make sure that the coils Yeah.
So that you're looking at trying to maintain the existing coils so they don't go kaboom.
Yes, because they go kaboom, we're literally drifting in the void, basically.
So, yes, as if the engineering teams weren't working hard already.
I have something of an alternative school of thought.
Okay.
Where, like, obviously we're all sort of focusing on, like, trying to speed ourselves up. What if we can find some sort of way to slow them down? Not necessarily, you know, by firing a torpedo at them or something, but, like, could be, like, sort of force them to sort of, like, what am I trying to say here? If we could sort of get something to sort of show up on their sensors, it's like, oh, hang on, what's that? We need to check that out. And then get them to stop that way, like put some sort of ghost on their system.
That's a really good idea. I like that.
Just so we're not, you know, going to blow ourselves up trying to go a little bit faster. We just like slow them down instead.
Give them a diversion.
A distraction beacon.
Okay. How would you like to do this? I mean, there are any number of ways to create sensor ghosts. It's what kind of distraction you want to create that you think will get their attention.
It's like I'm a doctor, not an illusionist.
I've.
Oh,
sorry.
Mark, you go first.
Oh, sorry. What?
Mark, go first.
Oh, okay. Firing off a instead of a probe that for detecting for us, sends out a spoof signal that it's a Federation ship going into Klingon space. That would turn them around.
Interesting.
Dave? That was my idea. But I had a more specific thing, is that the adding to Mark's thing, we've got the specification, well, the like warp signature and stuff from that that really nasty starship. That's that Starfleet ship which was attacking us.
Oh, the black ship.
Yes.
Oh, the meaty one.
Yes.
That would get their attention.
that something like that going. If we can pull it.
Yeah. Okay, I see where this is going. Put that somewhere along their course so that they then have this energy reading of a very powerful ship invading their space, somewhere near enough to them that it makes them feel they have to divert. It'll give you a chance to keep the warp 8.
Yeah, even just slightly behind them where they have to turn around.
Yeah.
Okay. I like this. Subversive.
I was going to say, it's instead of having like a fleet of ships, having that one big
bad ship
going into Klingon space. That's gonna scare the crap out of anybody. Sorry.
That's fine. We are
not sure
now
if
essentially PG.
Klingons. It might intrigue their bloodlust though.
Mm-hmm.
Good. They can go and try and attack a probe as we get some distance.
I was gonna. Yeah. I mean, look, Klingons are hit first, investigate later.
Very much the case. Although there are a few exceptions, yes.
Sorry, Lex.
I said our crew.
But yeah, I said my idea was just to add on to Mark's. I think me and Mark pretty much had the same idea.
And it was inspired by Chris, so yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Yes, we've got a teamwork there. Okay.
Yeah,
all right then. So this sounds to me... Go on.
How fast does shuttlecraft go?
A shuttlecraft, I think, at most is warp 2. I mean, any other Star Trek aficionados could correct me.
We send a shuttlecraft. We've got Type 9 shuttlecraft, one of them, at warp 2 going the other direction into Klingon space with a smooth signature.
My question, my notion here, sorry to interrupt you, but if you put it in the other direction, they might be, because let's not forget that Klingons are just as mission-orientated as anybody else. If it's going in the opposite direction, even if it is a big scary thing, then you risk them ignoring it because it's behind them. If you instead put it coming towards them, or at least on a course that they would intercept or come close to intercepting, it might be different.
Kind of putting it across their path.
Yeah.
Kind of like. So, perfectly honest, we would have to. I mean, if it's a shuttle, if we're doing it with a shuttle, then the shuttle's not going to get there fast enough. We've still got to, for a little bit, take the engines past warp 8, so we can get in front of them, so we can do this plan. It will be for only a little bit, but we do need to push the engines a little bit.
Why? At the moment, the route we're taking is a bit longer because we're going around the Klingon space. If it make it look like it's taking the shortcut through Klingon space, so it's still on the same trajectory.
But
we're going the route we want to. The shuttlecraft, it will look like it's taking a shortcut, so it's violating the space but heading towards the same spot. So we still take the route we need to.
But it make it this one look like it's taking a shortcut through Klingon space.
So it's violating it, and it's also going to the same target. So that should draw their attention without us having to compromise engines.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. All right then. It sounds to me like that you're looking to sacrifice a shuttle rather than a probe now.
Oof.
Yeah, we can fit more onto the shuttle to make it a bit more.
It's an Intrepid class. I've seen Voyager. They've got like an unlimited amount of shuttles. Don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, I think that was one of the main changes they made to Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition, was especially after seeing the TARDIS effect that Discovery has. When it turns out that the turbo lifts actually enter another dimension or something. But they seem to establish that a ship has got a large number of shuttles available. It's just that the size of a ship, like for instance your own, an Intrepid class is a scale 4 ship, so not the biggest, and therefore has a small craft readiness of 3. So that means that even though the Combs has got quite a few shuttles and small craft available in its bay, it only has the ability to keep 3 in a ready state at any one time. So, yes, it's not like you don't have a supply of shuttles, it's just that you've only got 3 small craft that you keep ready at any particular time. Usually, according to you guys, it's 2 worker bees and a Type 6 shuttlecraft, so you've usually got 1 ready for an emergency launch just in case. So it's going to take a bit of jiggery and pokery to start slapping some sensor spoofing equipment on this shuttle, not to mention that it's probably going to have to be remote piloted. And because unless you want to actively put somebody on that shuttle,
no.
Yeah, they risk getting captured if not killed. So, Liz, you just had a dirty idea, I can tell from the chuckle. What was? You didn't think of putting the EMD on the shuttle by any chance, did you?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
What's the odds of him getting captured?
You sure you want Klingons to be able to get the rather cutting-edge hologram projection technology and AI medical database that Flesk and Sop programmed together?
No.
No, you just said a clause that if the shuttle gets captured, it gets destroyed.
Self-destruct.
I'm so glad you're not asking for the chief engineer to go on there.
I mean, she'd totally do it.
She would, yes.
I mean, if anybody would ask, Bonnet would do it too, because
Bonnet would be up for it as well. We've established, Bonnet's pretty reckless as far as shuttlecraft goes, as we saw some time ago. But nevertheless.
So, are we are we fixing up a shuttle then?
Sounds
so.
like. So
We'll
this
set it in
sounds to
with
me.
a direction and just fire it off at warp 2.
Yep. Give me remote access because I might be able to keep it alive as long as possible to keep them busy.
Okay, I am thinking this is going to be an extended task because a fair amount of work needs to go into modifying this shuttle. So let's see, you're not only modifying it to run on its own, or at least remotely, you're also trying to fit equipment to it so that its warp signature is masked. Not only is it masked, it's giving off false warp and power signatures. So I'm going to say this is going to be a... Ooh. Now for you guys, this isn't too huge, so I'm going to make this difficulty 2 to start with, and a work track of 10. No real resistance, because this is the kind of thing that you've got the equipment to make on the ship, so yeah. So a work track of 10 to modify the shuttle, so it's... Let's see, the first thing you're going to need to do is to modify the shuttle in order to mask its signature. So this sounds like somebody who has got experience with either sensors or warp fields in order to monkey with the
Warp
readings
field.
given off. So
Yeah, warp field dynamics, and I have a few talents to stack up to get this thing done.
And the next would be anything to do with... I mean, Gurkhau's statistical thing, maybe not so much, but her extravehicular thing, modifying a vehicle to work in ways it doesn't usually work, sounds like it's up Gurkhau's alley.
Mm.
Cool.
Well,
I mean,
me and Gurkhau, and I'm going to buy a dice for this first roll, but I'm also going to stack a load of stuff as well.
I mean, can we also invite, Kenson to assist with warp field dynamics as well?
Okay, so that'll cost you a point of momentum to invite her in, but...
Who's
got
Kenson?
No, if we're spending momentum, it's best to spend it, because I'm going to stack some bonuses.
Oh, sounds like Mark's going all in
got a
here with
plan.
this one, so...
I'm going to go all in.
I don't know who Kenson is. You have to say the whole thing.
Kenson.
I think we're fine then.
Just what?
Touche.
You'll never know.
I just want Connie to say Ensign Kenson. That's it.
Whoa.
Cool.
I am half tempted to try to mess with the propulsion system to make it go faster.
Well, you can do that when it comes to Bonnet and whoever else giving it its pre-programmed course, or creating the remote piloting side of things, which is what I was going to get to next. So let's monkey with the engine systems first. Ooh. This sounds to me like it's going to be... Ooh. It sounds like daring and engineering to me, with a bit of thrown in with a bit of reason and science, or daring and science. Actually, Gurkhau's daring isn't that bad, so daring and engineering for Gurkhau wouldn't be outside of the realms of normalcy either.
I think I want to use my one of my star costs. Meadows.
Okay.
Yep, same.
Okay, so you're increasing your focus ranges. Nice, nice, nice.
So increasing focus range. If we succeed, increase impact by 1. And they also only use one of my Starfleet medals of honor, because that will gain 2 bonus momentum.
It can't be saved, but it can be spent on adding extra progress to the thing. Okay, yeah.
Yep. And
sounds good.
specialist. just means I can ignore the first complication for free.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So
who's leading? Who's?
I'll lead.
All right.
I'm healing a momentum to roll
3 dice.
3 dice. And it's the dedicated focus.
Yes.
Cool.
So that
Do I
means...
tick both focus and dedicated focus?
Yes, please.
Right, and that's 3 dice I'm rolling.
I think Connie's doing the same. Is Connie buying an extra dice?
I mean...
I don't see why not. If you've doubled your focus range.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So you're rolling 2 dice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow!
Right, so I'm gonna take it to 3. Daring and science. So using focus and dedicated focus.
Mm-hmm.
And rolling 2 dice in the pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look at Louise!
Oh! Beautiful.
All right. With those rolls, that number of successes, you match the output power signature of this shuttle to be the black ship exactly. So, if anyone scans the power signature from afar, they are going to get the idea that this is actually a heavy cruiser that's got enough power output to support some pretty hefty weaponry. So, you guys have created the perfect disguise.
We've also probably made the Klingon Starfleet war even worse, by the way.
It's a tomorrow problem.
We also forgot to spend our acclaim.
Yeah, you did. We can get to that in either next time, or we can do that at the end of today. It's up to you guys. But,
I just got a Legion of Honor for Bonnet.
Yeah, you really need to get one, I think. But, okay, so that was a tremendous amount of successes. Flesk was the lead, which means we go using Flesk's engineering of 5, but because you are using in the nick of time, you increase the impact by 1. You gained so much extra momentum there. You gained 7 extra momentum. We may as well call it there. But I do want to see how well Bonnet throws in her navigational. Or do you want it to be remote piloted, or do you want to do it just fire and forget?
Oh, and Bonnet created extra determination for herself as well.
Definitely remote piloted, because why not?
Okay. So, in this regard then, I would like a bit of... Make it... Reason and con? Reason and con, please. It's only difficulty 1, because of the sheer amount of progress made by Gurkow and Flesk on that one. And it's whether or not you want to invite anybody to assist. I would, if you want to activate Lieutenant Commander Lian Zhang, she would be a good one to do so.
Okay, so I'm gonna try. I am doing navigation, but I also want to fiddle with the propulsion system to try to make it go faster.
Okay. Okay. Must go faster.
So for that, I think I'm to mess with the propulsion. I'm going to bring Ensign for warp field dynamics.
Okay. This sounds like daring and engineering from Ensign Kenson. And you know what? This actually sounds like daring and con from Bonnet at this point, because you're being quite blasé with the whole thing. So
I do have warp theory too.
You do as well, so that's fine.
Is it daring and engineering? Yeah.
Yes, please.
1 dice.
1 dice for Kenson, 2 dice for Bonnet, unless you want to.
How much?
Focus warp field dynamics, yes?
Yes.
I mean, we do have momentum.
You've got so much momentum.
Do you want me to take...
take
I'm using the momentum to get another dice.
You may, yeah. So three for Bonnet, 2 for Kenson. You may as well.
Okay. I'll roll first then.
Nope, too late. She's off the mark and done. Ooh, hello.
You know what?
Oh dear.
Neither of them has a Legion of Honor.
Is this still an engineering task?
Yes, you're not involved in it.
Doesn't say have to be involved in it. It's an extended task, though, isn't it? Can I use my maintenance specialist?
Maintenance specialist. You may ignore the first complication rolled on any engineering task. Wording. Spend a point of momentum as if you were taking part in this, and I'll allow it.
Done.
Right, so we ignore the complication. Bonnet got 5 successes, Kenson got 2. Which means the momentum goes back into the pool because that's so ridiculously successful. And yes, with a little bit of watch out for the from Flesk, means that these somewhat over-enthusiastic and somewhat overworked Ensign Carly Kenson didn't quite mess up the overpowering the engines to the point that it would have gone explode and then missold the whole thing. So there we are. You have successfully created a decoy. You wily sons of beaches. What's this? Dear Starfleet dumb people, I don't know how long it took you to decrypt this. I think around 24 hours to 4 days, but I wanted to message you from the Combs brig to say this. Ha 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 ha. You wish you was as good as me. I have more talent in my little fingernail than all of you combined. Lots of kisses and cuddles. Lieutenant Lily Tavish and nil. Wow, I sense more reprimands coming on.
To also now time to do the remote access portion because she just wanted to make it go faster to give the Klingons
roar it out of the shuttle bay.
Give the Klingons something to chase even more as well.
Okay, my God, what have I created?
Now time for the remote access.
Now it's time for remote access. Well, Bonnet is such a good pilot anyway that we don't have to make this a control and contest. But if you really, really want to, just to see how it goes...
We've already got a full momentum pool.
Yeah.
No, I know, I just want to...
You just want to see
this.
Right. So Bonnet remote pilots the decoy shuttle and expertly targets it in the direction that will cross the course of the 2 Klingon ships whose power signatures have caught your eyes, and therefore, considering where you've put them, the Klingons should notice them by the time they start coming across the Zalda system, which means that the Klingons should hopefully be diverted. But before that happens, Gurkhau's station once again gets sensors alert, as all of a sudden those 2 Klingon warp signatures have disappeared. Doesn't take a genius to guess what happened. So whether or not that means they've managed to take your decoy...
I know what happened. I know what happened.
Well, enlighten us.
Our imaginary ship blew both of those.
Bonnet crashed it into them, destroyed them both.
Yep.
I suggest we book it.
Yes.
Don't tempt her. She would. She would put the
Did somebody say more speed?
More speed and ramming.
Alright.
Ram the heavily modified shuttle into a cloaked Klingon warcruiser.
Yeah, find the invisible cruiser.
Yeah. That's going to be a great episode.
No, don't kid Bonnet. She will try her best.
Okay.
Right.
Let's get to this planet then.
Okay then, so we are
speed ahead.
Alright then. Let me have a little thinky for a moment. So, some hours later, not too many, since you have increased to Warp 8, Bonnet has been keeping a very close eye on what's been going on with your decoy ship, because she's basically piloting two vessels at this point, it seems. The good news is that piloting into the Shackleton Expanse after exiting the corridor between the Klingon and Romulan empires is a lot easier. It doesn't take much work at all. So Bonnet can very easily keep her eye on where the shuttle's going, because you are making it try and intercept more or less on that spur. So it takes a little bit of time, but then Bonnet gets an alert on the sensors from the decoy shuttle that records a tachyon surge in the nearby area. Not long after there's a tachyon surge is when the shuttle catches something decloaking. It's a definitely a warship, and by the configuration of its hull, you would say it's a Vulture-class attack cruiser. Needless to say, the moment that its disruptor banks open up on the shuttle, the shuttle is... Ugh, I can't even form the words now. Bonnet loses contact with the shuttle.
Oh, I can't even do evasive maneuvers to try to ram it.
Sadly, no. But that does mean that at least one of those ships was diverted.
Out of curiosity, what was the destination of the Vulture class, or could we not determine?
Ooh. Does any of you here have anything that can do that? Somebody with starship recognition would be really good.
Damn, I don't have that. I do have cultural studies.
I have starship design.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't think any of the engineering lot have got that.
The captain's got starship.
Dufresne, Lieutenant Dufresne. She's got starship recognition.
Right, so we want to activate Dufresne in order to allow her to join in.
Yep.
Cool beans, which means we add one to that. Or do we? Hang on a second. Combs. That's the shield crew modifier of 1. That's the shield modifier. The crew modifier is 1. So that means we do take 1 off to represent activating Dufresne. Okay, so Dufresne has got starship recognition, which is a reason and... well... either a reason and science. Let's go with reason and science. Anybody want to join in on a reason and science with Dufresne?
Yeah, I can do that, I think.
Cool. So if we have Sot assisting, Dufresne leading, Connie, Dufresne is one of your folks, so why don't you be Dufresne?
Alrighty.
You do have a full momentum pool, but this isn't really a big task, so...
cool.
Saving those spoofed specs for later use. Nice. 2 results. Okay, cool. Oh god, what's this now? Message to Ensign Keston, stop watching grab ball while on duty from a person with a hyperspan. This must be killing Tavish that she can't take active part in any of this. So she's just raving down the comm system.
She's just sending messages to like random people.
Well, not random as it turns out. Okay. Alright, so what have we got? Dufresne and Dr. Sott working together to try and identify what this is. So, Vorticalas attack cruiser, you do manage to find the designation of this ship as the IKS Gelbor. Not one that you're intently familiar with, but it's one of the ships posted to this general area and is a Vorticalas attack cruiser, so you know it packs a wallop. Oh god, what's this now? Message to Tavish! You have missed a fun game. We just played with the Klingons. I made a shuttlecraft go faster and mess with them by making them look like idiots from Starfleet Intelligence. You could also send this to those idiots, like they're not smart anyways. Ah, dear. Okay, so yes, you recognize the Vorticalas's ident as the Gelbor. Not so much anything else about it. You don't know much of its history, but that's mostly because the Klingons don't allow Starfleet access to their records anymore. But
we just love messing with Starfleet Intelligence.
So the Combs is now rocking along, knowing that at least one of those two ships that you detected the warp signatures to before has been diverted successfully because of where the shuttle was being piloted by Bonnet. I had to with Dufresne, Bonnet, Kenson. I keep forgetting names. I'm sorry. So the Combs has managed to maintain its speed of warp 8 so far without any kind of problems. It's essentially, like I said before, trying to take an induction coil offline means shutting off power to a certain area, which means that Flesk has to then move power around. Likewise, the engineering peeps have to get in, pull out the induction coil, put another one in, test it to make sure it can take the current and take and regulate the current, which takes some time, and then they can try and start shunting power back through it again, and it's an onerous task that takes a while, but for the moment you've had some hours to do something with. It's not complete by any stretch of the imagination. But that is when you get another sensor alert that Gurkow can tell you that there's a tachyon surge going off of your starboard bow. As a Klingon Kavort-class ship appears alongside the Combs.
Oh, great.
Now,
don't these patogs know when to give up?
Indeed. Now, I'm going to bring us back to Deck 1 momentarily. I am going to allow Gurkow and anybody else who wants to help, maybe even Dufresne, to have a good old look at this ship that is just decloaked not far from yours. Anybody who wants to get in on this action is perfectly welcome to. This is Reason and Con, or Reason and Engineering, to identify this ship. And to get a good old look at what it's doing.
Can I use my did the reading by spending 1 momentum to use science?
That sounds like a thing to me. Mark, you were going to jump in, and Liz as well, by the sounds of it.
I'll just say I've got high engineering, so I can assist.
Okay.
I do have, or if it's also con, I do have decent con.
Yep. So, just spending 1 momentum can mean that you can jump in, have somebody jump in and assist to make 2 assistants rather than just the 1.
I don't mind.
Looks like we may have already done it. No, we didn't. We did it last time. What was that, sorry, Liz?
We'll get more momentum out of this anyways.
If today has been anything to judge, yes, absolutely, you'll be getting more back.
Right, so you said, is it control and con or reason and con?
Reason and con, because you're trying to identify power outage and the way it's been made and that kind of thing to give you an idea of not only its current status, but who it could also be.
Could electroplasma power systems work? Or cultural studies?
I will allow electroplasma power systems.
Yes.
Because it is relevant to what I'm about to tell you if you succeed.
I've also got starship design.
Ooh. That will help.
Cool. Use that focus. Roll one.
So, this is going to be Gurkhau's lead with Bonnet and Flesk helping. Oh, that was almost a 20. It kind of bounced off. What is this now? Messages to Dufresne? Is Dave just bored and now he's making up stuff that Tavish is sending to other folks?
Encrypted.
Right, so that's 2 you get back there, actually, so there we go. Alright, this is a Cavort-class battlecruiser, so Cavorts are not the most recent. The Vorchers are definitely more recent. But Cavorts are like a stand-in between the Birds of Prey, which are smaller craft, and a bigger, heavier battle cruiser. So the Cavorts are kind of halfway between, as a best example I can give. But nevertheless, they've been around for a fair time. There's a conversation going on Discord here at the moment. But yes, the Cavort cruiser, its power plant is operating quite high capacity, which makes a certain degree of sense. A Cavort class, when they were originally released, were not as high at warp as later Klingon vessels. So, in all likelihood, when Gurkhau first managed to catch that long-range sensor blip of two warp signatures, and one of which was stronger than the other, it stands to reason now that the one that was putting out more power was the Cavort class, because it would have a harder time keeping up with the more modern Vorcha class. And this is definitely echoed now that you are so much closer to the Cavort, because this one seems to be running its engines quite hot, quite pushing its engines quite high. And that's when a little bit of a surprise comes your way as you recognize the ident signature of the Cavort ship. It's the IKS Mapui. And for those who don't remember the IKS Mapui, that's Captain Akul's ship.
Is that the Klingon ship? Is that the ship we took over in the Klingon game?
Your Klingon ship is the Doka Batch.
No, not
but
the Doka Batch.
The ship that the Klingon ship that got posted to Narendra Station.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
You know, the captain that everybody likes.
Yeah.
You had a friendly competition with him and his crew to say goodbye when the split happened between the Federation and the Klingons.
Yeah.
So, yes, the Mapui has been put against you to find and destroy the sensor array. So, your friends are now in the ship opposite you. Or your former Klingon friends are in the ship opposite you. Now, as the Mapui is racing to keep up, like I said, Gurkhau's sensor readings and those who joined in with helping Gurkhau's sensor readings do note that the Mapui is pushing its engines really hard, and it gives it one more big push to gain a bit of speed to put itself slightly out in front of the combs, at which point there is another sensor alert on Gurkhau's console where it seems that the Mapui is gaining speed but then drops out of warp, which means it drops off of view for a moment. And just as this is settling in, this weird occurrence, the Mapui would suddenly drop out of warp. Did their engine suddenly get too hot or something? You're not sure. But then not long afterwards, the Mapui drops out of warp. You get another alert, a more serious sensor alert this time, as sensors indicate a graviton burst. It's going on right in front of the combs. You have got moments, seconds, to either bring the ship out of warp now, or it's going to be forced out of warp by hitting the graviton wave that's just been released by the Mapui.
We need to shut it down, I think.
So this sounds like it's going to be a control and con check at difficulty 3 for your helm officer. You can, of course, activate Lieutenant Commander Lian Zhang if you want her Brit to come in to help.
Alright, what's the roll?
First things first, are we bringing in Zhang? Or
I think so, yeah.
Or is Bonnet doing this solo?
Oh, Bonnet.
Liz, what do you think?
You said difficulty 3, huh?
Difficulty 3. So you do need 3 successes in order to accomplish this. Now,
you have got determination.
You do have determination. It's a very good point.
I do, yeah.
You don't necessarily need her.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, you know what? I think Bonnet's got this.
All right. Control and con. I am going to also ask Chris to jump in as the Combs, because the ship will be needed to aid this as much as possible. So I'm going to go with Chris. Do you have access to the Combs' character sheet?
I do.
Ship sheet. If you could give me engines and con from the Combs, we'll see how well we do. Nice!
Cool.
So some of the pressure has been taken off of Bonnet at least.
What is the normal focus range for the ship?
The focus range for the ship is something like 4. Let me have a look. 3.
Damn, okay. That wouldn't have counted, because hands-on pilot would have doubled. Damn, I was hoping.
Never mind.
Alright,
worth considering.
So... doing a dedicate... Do I want to use the focus? Or do I want to use the dedication? Or determination?
Why not both?
I mean, so... Focus for either propulsion...
Or helm operation, yep.
Determined... yep, okay.
Whoa! Nice. Very, very nicely done. So, yeah. The alert is put out by Gurkhau that there's a graviton pulse ahead which is going to force the ship out of warp if it's not brought out of warp beforehand. And Bonnet, with some help from the Combs itself, manages to slam on the brakes and go essentially do the equivalent of hit the brakes and skid in order to bring the ship to out of warp safely, very abruptly. So either way, you're looking at a lot of folks on the ship who didn't have time to grab onto something. A lot of folks have been tossed around the inner compartments of the ship. So there's more than a few people who've been either thrown off of their feet or have ended up going arse over tail. So head over tail. Arse over tail? I like it anyway, let's just stick with that. Over their consoles and such. So a couple of people may throw a couple of "Whoa, careful, Bonnet!" But it was either that or get forced out of warp, and that would have meant damage to the ship. So all in all, could have been a heck of a lot worse. Now let's. What is going on with you guys at the moment with all these Discord messages? Anyway, moving on. So, yes. The Mapui, having released this graviton pulse, is itself now turning in order to try and get away from the effects of the graviton wave to get out of the area so that it can re-engage warp. And you also get a notice that there is another warp signature, possibly the Vorcha. The Vorcha ship is entering the area as well, so you have got moments to get out of this area of gravitational disturbance, and get back into warp as quickly as you possibly can. But that is not going to be easy, because essentially you had to take your warp, drop your ship out of warp really, really quickly. So this becomes another extended task to re-engage your warp field.
Right, well, I've got warp field dynamics as a specialty, and another Medal of Honor on standby.
I have warp theory on ready to go as well.
Kenton has warp field dynamics.
Garrow also has warp engines.
If we want to bring Garrow into this as well by activating him, yeah, sure. So, who do we want?
Well, seeing as it's Mark's thingy, I'll let Mark choose.
And as an added benefit, if we have me +2, I have parent figure to ignore a complication. So
that is...
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I think if you're gonna do this, I think you do it with Flesk, Bonnet, and Garrow.
Garrow.
I do have intense scrutiny, so if it's a reason or control as a part of an extended task, we ignore any and all resistance.
Cool. This will be a control and engineering type task, so having the ability to ignore resistance is a good thing.
Okay, so that's a Bonnet and a... Who's got the next?
Is Kenson getting involved, or is Garrow being brought in?
Maybe Garrow, because he also has Legion of Honor and Starcross.
Ah.
So even if the discipline isn't high...
Well, it's
you can double his focus
of 1. So yeah, the Legion of Honor would be more useful. Because we can get bonus momentum.
Okay.
Because we won't need... Because I've got Legion of Honor and the 2 ignores. So yeah, Garrow can use Legion of Honor to get bonus momentum, just to get us across the line.
Alright then. Chris, do you fancy being Garrow?
Yeah, go on then.
Alright then, so I'm looking for 1 dice control and engineering from Garrow with focus on warp engines. I got 1 dice for Bonnet as well, control and engineering, helping to ignore the resistance. Oh, nicely done, Garrow. Blask is using Starfleet Medal of Honor to to give 2 bonus momentum.
2.
Bonnet brings in a success as well. Very good, very good. Need 1 more success to match the difficulty.
Cool. Using focus. And don't use that. Don't need that. And that's if we succeed. So 2 bonus. So with focus, 2 momentum. So 2 dice being rolled with focus.
Whoa, very good. Jeez Louise, look at that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in all. 1 over what you needed, and you gain 2 bonus momentum, so you got 3 momentum from that. So Garrow gives us, not Garrow, pardon me, Flesk gives us a 5, which means impact is in 1. You get an extra 2. Jeez, you cold start this puppy really quickly. So, yeah, as also a nod to how well this crew works together in a pinch, and also how good its engineering section is, and its ops, and how other folks get involved in various different departments. This thing has to get its warp field cut out quick so it doesn't get damaged, and restarted almost just as quickly. So I would say at this point the Klingon ships and the combs are now all neck and neck, which is incredible. Good lordy lorks. Okay. Now. You have now passed the point where the Klingon and Federation space is... You now passed Klingon and Federation space, and coming up on the Shackleton Expanse itself. Now, most of this crew have been in and out of the Shackleton Expanse quite a lot. And, well, now that you know the Mapui is involved, you know that they have some experience with it too. But the Shackleton Expanse is synonymous for the deadly nebulae and gravitational disturbances that it has going for it, which makes it a navigational hazard and a hazard for ships going through it. Normally, you guys would have no problem going through the outer parts of the Shackleton Expanse in order to get to its interior, because you've done it more than a few times. However, you've never done it at speed. And this will be where things get interesting. But, in order to make sure that we've got enough to last for next time, I'm actually going to cut short this episode here, as you're about to plunge into the Shackleton Expanse itself. So this is going to be a test of piloting and engineering skill in order to see how well you can cross the divide and the Expanse itself and its hazards, and also try and keep your lead against the Klingons. So, this is where we will be ending our episode, or at least our session for this episode, early, just so that we've got some more to do next time. So, as a result, I would like to check that everybody's free to join us next week on the 12th of January.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spiffing. So, we will indeed be seeing you all next time for us having to navigate some pretty gnarly hazards. But also, we now have the added... Well, how do you guys feel about the fact that you are now in direct competition with Captain Akul and the members of the Mapui crew?
Well, Bonnet just sees them as more Klingons to wipe the floor with their excellent speed.
We'll show them how it's done.
Because she doesn't know about the Mapui crew.
Yes, quite. She was brought on board as a replacement for the fact that you lost your first officer to the fact that she went over to the Klingon side. So, yeah, Bonnet has no experience with the Mapui crew, quite right. But what about the rest of you, especially those of you who formed bonds and friendships with the other side?
Tavish will send a message to them going, "Don't worry, I'm not available for this mission."
I have no feelings one way or the other about it.
No, it's because I absolutely wiped the floor with them for the engineering. Do you remember the competition?
That's right. Yes, you did.
Yeah, so she's just letting them know that
They might have a chance.
they might have a chance this time.
Oh.
Nice, rubbing their faces in it. That won't come back to bite you.
Oh. Yeah,
I think a lot of things are gonna come back to bite Tavish in the bum at some point.
You do make it so easy for me. Liz, you were saying.
Oh, I was just looking at my what it says I have it for a claim on my piece. I'm like, maybe I would have gone for reputation.
Well, it's up to you, and we can sort that out in just a moment. But well, Flask liked to get involved with the Klingons a lot. What's Flask's thoughts on all of this?
Flask is thinking about getting Tavish to send a message saying, place a wager on the race. Barrel of blood wine.
Of course, get Tavish because we all know she would be able to. Like, why not just say Bonnie?
Hey, do you want to do a bet? Case of blood wine for the first person who gets there, and me for a session.
Does Dr. Sott have any feelings about this anyway?
No, not yet.
Because, you know, all of this is taking place outside of sickbay, so... But he's never really socialised with the Klingons that much, has he, so...
If I recall, I was just sort of at the bar a lot.
Yes. Watching.
So Sott's just like, you guys know the Klingons?
Weren't you part of the competition, though?
Yeah, in a way, but...
Not as much as Tavish,
exactly.
Flask, and Hopkins.
Yes, so sadly there wasn't a medical competition to see who could dissect or repair a corpse faster, but...
Tavish is sending a message to them. Please deliver to Hopkins. I'm still better than you. Love, Tavish.
What about Gurkow? Gurkow's thoughts?
Gurkow's happy for some friendly competition, I'm sure. You know, given what we know of them, they're not going to blast us literally and figuratively.
Well, that is a good point to make. They could have done something like launch torpedoes at you, but they didn't. Instead, they went with knocking you out of warp by emitting a graviton pulse, so...
I think we need to do the same to them.
Maybe that's a tell. Well, something to consider next time.
yeah. But yeah, no response to Bonnet's reply to you, Tavish?
Captain realised that I hacked into the system and was sending messages to random people, and has now taken my computer access off me. So
that's your way of saying if I didn't see it, it didn't happen?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, damn. Yeah, if you're just like, dang, it must be nice to have the hyper spanner while you're in the brig.
Guess who's got your hyper spanner? Anyway, so for the purposes of this video, thank you very much to everybody who watched. I'm only looking at it now and realizing there was some frame rate droppage, so if anybody experienced any wonky video whilst watching or listening to this, sorry about that. That was outside of my control, but it seemed to only happen the once, so hopefully it didn't happen again during the course of this little episode. We will be back next time, same place, to see how well the Combs do against the Klingons in this race. But in the meantime, we ask you to do like the Vulcans do, live long and prosper, and engage in a friendly competition with your Klingon allies, and don't go out of your way to blow them up or anything, but at least, hey, put wagers on who gets to be the best. But also engage in infinite diversity and infinite combinations. Let's hope 2025 shapes up to be a better year than 2024 was, and we will see you in a week's time. Until then, hailing frequencies are now closed.